Good evening, everybody. This is Leva Chinelu, and you are welcome to my YouTube channel. Also, welcome to this edition of Talk with Chi. And here with me, I have a beautiful guest, and she'll be talking to us on how growing as a teenager feels like. Please introduce yourself, ma'am.
My name is Pasuma Oyindamala.
What do you do? Introduce yourself properly. What you do, where you're from, and
I'm from Ekiti State and I'm into learning fashion designing. And it's a pleasure being with Chinelo here.
okay, thank you. So our first question will be, what does growing as a teenager feels like?
Wow. It feels exciting and it feels as every change will always feel like, a child who is a toddler and then is learning how to walk. When he starts crawling, he's going to feel happy. Then when he starts to walk, you find the joy. So growing up as a teenager is always exciting.
It's joyful. Okay. So we've seen that and we've experienced that growing up as a teenager, they says it comes with so many emotions.
Yeah.
So many things like, but let's go to the emotion. How do you control your emotions when it comes to, the kind of emotions I'm talking about? So
Yeah.
how do you control them?
We have different ways of controlling emotion, dealing with different people actually. Some feel that when they have this kind of emotions, let's talk about sad emotions, they feel they can just let out themselves by crying. I'm one of them. And also most people feel that when they have this kind of emotions, sad emotions, they can let out themselves by shouting at people, being aggressive. So you have different ways of just laying down your emotions as a teenager, and you always have this thing that most times our emotions try to ride us due to this teenage feeling. We always allow our emotions ride us. So
Okay.
it depends on the way you control yourself, too.
So our next question will be, but before our next question, I would like us to subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you've not, I'd like you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So the next question is, what are the sweet things that God has placed in teenage life, especially you? What are the sweet things that God has placed in your life?
Well, you get to know more about yourself. Like, you get to know the things you really love doing, your hobbies, your talents, your gifts. And also this teenage stage, let me say, you get to know, to discern the kind of friends you make. You tend to find some of your friends exciting, you tend to find some boring, you tend to find some just normal. So let me say the sweet things that God has really put into this stage is our feelings tend to rise, and also we tend to just feel free, feel that yes, we have liberty.
Okay,
So it's a sweet thing actually.
So for you, is having liberty a free thing, or you have another sweet thing that you can tell our viewers about?
The sweet thing I've gotten in this stage is that I tend to find so many things about myself. Like, I've just spent this stage finding things about myself. Things that, when I was little, I would not have even searched for it or even found it. So that's the sweet thing.
So what are the hard parts of being a teenager? Everything that is good must always have every advantage of something we have disadvantage. So what are the hard parts of being a teenager?
The hard parts of being a teenager. Firstly, when you find out that there are some things you ought to you should be given this kind of freedom. You always feel, yes, I'm old enough. And then your parents just make you realize that you're still a girl, you're still a kid, you're still a child.
Part is not sweet.
Yes, it's not sweet, it's a very hard part.
Understand.
And so many times when you feel you can make decisions on your own, and you end up making decisions, and your decisions are full of regrets, and you feel, wow, I thought I was old enough to make this decision, but you just find out that no, you're taking it the wrong way.
Okay.
And also there will be a lot of eyes, peering eyes, parents, uncles, people, your family members, people who are older than you who want to watch that now she has gotten to a stage where we need to keep our eyes on her. And then let me say, when you're walking, you be like, I that's one of the hard things.
Okay, so in this teenage era, we tend to know that peer pressures, they are rising. They want everything to be their own way. They want you to do what they are doing, and you also, you want them to do what you are doing. So how do you control peer pressure? Like, how do you tell them no? You know, it's a very hard thing. So how do you do it?
Well, there's something we call self-esteem.
Okay.
It's always good as a teenager to have this high self-esteem. So when you have your self-esteem, you believe that you have this confidence in yourself. So when your peers are like telling you to do this, trying to influence you in a way you feel is not right, you should be able to stand your ground and no, I don't want this. So your self-esteem will help you design, like it will help you make sure that you're not influenced by with the bad things that your peers put to you. So peer pressure is not really, let me say, I didn't really have much through peer pressure, because the only thing I do with my peers is what I feel, okay, let's just do it. Is what I feel, yes, I can do it. But when I feel I can't, I tell them.
Okay. So our next question will be, how has God been helping you as a teenager, growing as a teenager? You know, with all the hard things you have said, with all the peer pressure you said, how has God been helping you?
God. Well, that's the first help you always need.
Yeah.
And so before you become a teenager, that's where parents do, like, that's where they need to come in. Parents should at least setting up a child in the way it should go, and when he's old, he won't depart from it.
Okay.
So if a parent should have been training the child before the child gets to being a teenager, then the child will be able to be on his or her own with God. So God has really been helpful. Like, let me say decisions that you feel, should I do this, should I do it? Go to God in prayer and ask. So he has really been helpful. All true.
Okay. So our next question might be a bit personal, but we would like you to answer. Who is your mentor or spiritual cover?
My parents actually are my mentor, but let me say it's not really okay to have your parents as your mentor, because they will always be there as a mentor.
Sure.
So let me say Ali Evelyn has really been good. She has really been helping me.
Get that.
She's all of us mother, actually.
Yeah.
And shout out to her. She's a very great person. So how has she influenced you?
In a great way.
Okay.
Let me say I got close to her I'll call it late because if I had known her long before when I knew her, maybe things would have been very much better. But she has helped me with prayers, checking on me, with messages, things like spiritually, so many things, so many ways. Most times when I have problems like personal things I feel I can't really share to any out person, I just come to her, and she's always willing and compassionate.
Aww,
Always willing
to
to hear.
cry. Okay, so as a teenager, what decision have you taken that has been helping you lately? Maybe recently or before. What decision have you taken that has been helping you?
Firstly, as a girl, you always have that decision to make, even from like when you start realizing the usefulness of your dignity, your virginity. So you always have like that's one of the decisions that help girls mostly. And also getting to have this decision that I want to know God, I want to be closer to God, I want to be for God. So that has been helping me recently. And also reading. My dad always believes in this thing. It's like read anything you see.
Okay.
Anything at all.
Okay.
Not anything that will destroy you, but anything you know
Thank
will
God
be
you
of
said that.
anything
Okay.
you know will be of
Helps you.
usefulness. Yes.
Even if it's biscuit ingredients.
Anything
Wow.
at all.
Okay. It will help. Okay. So that's all about that, right? Another question is, you know, as a teenager, our parents want to know everything that you want to do. So do you actually give them the freedom and the liberty to choose things for you, like maybe career, relationship, friendship? Do you allow them to put an embargo on the friends you want to make? Like, do you understand my question now?
Yes, I do. You know, parents might be kind of annoying. Let me use that.
Okay.
They will be like, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. But I said it at first, as a teenager, you have this freedom. Like, you feel you are free, but they will be the ones to tell you that, wow,
Calm down.
you are not free. So, firstly, I started from when I wanted to choose a career, right from my junior secondary school. My parents, like, they will always want to pry into things, your personal things, but they are not really personal because they're also your parents. So I didn't make them choose a career for me. I went on my own way. Even if after choosing it, they were like, what's this? But still, I was like, no, this is what I want.
Okay.
Concerning friendship, yes, my mom especially, and they've been really helpful. They said, sorry, permit me. A Yoruba saying says, "Ikoti agbalagba ri níbi tó jókòó sí. Ọmọdé tó bá ti gun òkè mẹ́ta kò tí lè rí."
Okay, let me translate. What an elder sees while sitting down, a young person, even if he climbs a palm tree, you will not see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So concerning friendship, I'm just kind of, let me say I'm an extrovert, so I love moving with people. But when they tell me, like, this person is not good for you, this kind of friend, you shouldn't be working with this kind of friend. As a teenager, I would want to fight back that no, she's not the kind of person you think she is. But I don't know how God does these things. Later on, I'll start seeing the flaws that, this is true. So they've really been helpful in choosing my friend. But I would never, I don't really like the situation where my parents go ahead choosing things for their children. Because as a teenager, we should have this kind of, they should let us have this freedom that yes, we can choose things ourselves. They can only advise, especially career. They can only advise that this is what I feel, this is what I feel. But parents who will enforce it on their children that choose this is what you should do. At the end of the day, you find them losing tracks. For example, I have a friend of mine who wanted to go to the art class, and then she was like, I have to go to the science class. I said, what do you want to become? She said, doctor. When did you just suddenly realize you wanted to become a doctor? She was like, my mom said I should become a doctor. Though I talked her out of becoming that, and she started with science class in SS1, but then SS1 her result was awful. Someone was normally bright, but when she got to the art class, it was normal, even though she had to fight things out with her parents. So our parents should try as much as possible. Give these teenagers, like, give them hearing. Let them tell you that this is what I want to do. Don't enforce what you want them to do on them just because you feel it's okay. What if it's okay on your own side and then it's not okay for them? Yes. They shouldn't use that, let me say, that power to make them do what they don't want to do. When the child sees that, okay, this is what I want to do, and the child sees that it's not on his or her favor, then the child can decide on his or her own that, okay, let me go through what my parents said. So we should at least, please, parents out there, leave teenagers to decide on their own, especially career.
Okay, so you made mention of personal things. Like, do you think parents should respect your personal life? You know, you are still living with them, so why will you say do knock before you enter my room? Do you feel it's okay?
I don't feel it's
for
okay.
Parents to not pry on their children's privacy.
I really don't feel. I feel parents should be able to go into anything concerning their children.
Okay.
Because how will you be like, not before you enter marriage? Well, let me say, as a female, you can make that to your father because of the things happening right now. But your mother should be able, like, I think my mother is my best friend. And there's this thing I also want to say, you know, there's this, the way parents relate with their children also determines the way the children relate with the parents. Let me say the parent has been growing in a very strict way, in a way that the child will even feel so scared to tell the parent anything. So the way we approach our children matters so much. Approach them with this kind of calm manner. Don't take them with levity hands, but still be calm when you are trying to deal with them. Not that when a parent that is always shouting at the children, you don't expect the children should just walk up to you and be like, this is what is going on in my personal life. The child will start seeing his or herself as everything about me is personal, should not be shared with my parents, and that's what causes so many emotional instability in the hearts of children.
Okay, our next question is: as a teenager growing in God, obviously she's a Jesus girl. You can hear her words. So, as a teenager growing in faith, like, have you ever taken a decision because of your friends? Like, maybe have you ever taken a bad decision because your friends say, because your friends are doing it? So, and what was your regret after if you've done that?
It's always normal for a teenager to have those kind of regrets.
Okay.
Because you know, they are your friends, you feel you are
To
nothing
please
without them. You
Yeah.
need to please them.
Yeah.
A situation whereby, let's say you've been friends for like 3 years and then your friend started doing something and you just decide not to do it with your friend should be like, so you're neglecting me.
Yeah.
Well, I've done things like that, like a lot, and to be frank, everything ended with regrets. Like regrets, even till now. I still have that feeling I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done this. Based on emotional feelings, most of the times. They're like, this thing is good, this thing is good. And then you tend to have this kind of feeling when more than one person is saying this. You're my friend, you are telling me this is good. My friend telling me this is good, my friend telling me this is good. You just be like, okay, I feel this is good too.
Let me do it.
So if you don't do it, let me say, I always say this thing is like a sin I made of myself.
Okay.
Until you make a mistake before you learn a lesson. If you, let me say, if you do a particular thing and then you find that mistake in it, you find regrets, that is when you learn the lesson that yes, this thing is not good. Then you'll be able to advise another person coming that this thing is not good. But if you don't experience it, you don't have any say. So I've made a lot of mistakes by listening to what my peers says and regrets.
So in a nutshell, if your peer pressure, your friends are influencing you to do something out of your own will, out of the parents, out of what your parents has already laid inside of you, it's better to abstain from it instead of regretting later.
Sure.
Okay.
The regret is bad.
The regret is bad. So about our interview, we just want to know some things about our decisions on this question we are about to ask. Thank you for even coming this far with us. We are grateful. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you. So we would like to ask you, if you could go back in time, what year will you go back to and why?
If I should go back in time.
The question is deep. We need to give her a little bit.
Okay. I would actually go back to my first year in senior secondary school. I think that should be 2017, 2018, I guess. Or 2013. I would want to go back there and at least correct some things.
Okay. Our last guest actually said this thing. Why does everybody want to go? Why does everybody want to go back to their?
You know, that's why you really make some mistakes.
Okay.
Like just you need to correct them.
Okay. So what gift do you have apart from fashion designing? What other gifts do you have?
Well, God has blessed me a lot. All thanks to Him. I can sing to the glory of God. People tell me I have this angelic voice.
Maybe you entertain us, please.
Okay.
We cannot wait to hear. Maybe at the end of the no. Maybe at the end of the show, you entertain us with your voice, please.
Okay. And also, I write, but you know, there's this stress writers app. You write this year because you feel it's not ending anywhere.
We are on the same block.
Yeah, so I write also.
Okay.
And I can, let me say, play some instruments. Even though most of it I learn and then wrong, but I have an idea of actually everything of the saxophone,
You should go back.
violin, keyboard, the talking drum, majorly.
Wow.
That's a major. Like that.
So as somebody that is growing and as a human, what's your biggest fear in life?
My biggest fear. Well, I'm going to say this as a lady.
Okay.
I'm scared. Like, I have this fear for losing my dignity at a very young stage. And then growing up without falling in parts for what God has for me.
Okay.
It's like living a useless life.
I understand. So what's the Bible verse that has helped you whenever you think about your fears? What's that Bible verse that has helped you a lot?
But thou hast not given me the spirit of fear, but the spirit of sound mind.
Thank you. So what's the best thing you've done as a teenager?
Best thing I've ever done. Let me say compose songs on my own because I really find joy.
Okay, compose song. So lastly, what advice would you give teenagers that are watching this show right now?
The advice I will give them. Firstly, don't do things because you feel it's right, because your friends are doing it. They might be wrong because you are of the same stage. Secondly, do not let your emotions override you.
Okay.
Emotions are very, very bad things and they should not override you. Also, the most important, work with God. Because when you work with God, you tend not to fall at all. You tend not to fall. Though temptations will come, trials will come, but still stick with Him.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Fashumo Onyedamola, for being with us here on this program of Talk with Chi.
Pleasure.
If you've not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, comment, and let us know what you feel in the DM. Thank you very much. So we'd like you to entertain us with your voice. You said you have an angelic voice. We really can't wait to hear the voice of an angel. Also, people say that you are not. Please, let's know so that we will be able to say it.
Okay, I'll be singing this. You are the reason I live here.
Okay.
You are the reason I live. You're the one for me. You're the one for me. You are the reason I live. You're the one for me. You're the one for me. Why should I fear when I have you? Surrounded by your love, everlasting love. Why should I fear what people say? 'Cause they don't know what you mean to me.
Oh, she has an angelic voice, truly. I know you can testify to that now. Thank you. I wanted to join, but I don't want to spoil it. But don't worry, we have voice. We have voice, don't worry. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.